Anthony Grasso here, bringing you financial news you can use. In this video, we're going to go over what Joe Biden just said in the press conference about his third stimulus package. And after we watch that together, I will go into great detail on where we stand on the third stimulus package that Biden is promising in the next couple of weeks, some of the hurdles that we're going to have to look out for, go over unemployment benefits, and whether or not the stimulus checks will be $2,000, $1,400, and we're going to go over a little bit of state and local government aid. So let's get right into it. So he did this at a press conference, and let's start listening.
As I said from the beginning, the need to make sure that relief and future relief reaches everyone who needs it. We need to do more. These relief dollars will start to flow quickly, potentially while the current administration is still in office. And they may send out money that they won't have any control over. But for what we have to need control over, I want to be very clear what my priorities are for distributing this emergency aid swiftly and equitably. Our focus will be on small businesses on Main Street that aren't wealthy and well-connected, that are facing real economic hardships through no fault of their own. Our priority will be Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American-owned small businesses, women-owned businesses, and finally, having equal access to resources needed to reopen and rebuild. But we're going to make a concerted effort to help small businesses in low-income communities, in big cities, small towns, rural communities that have faced systemic barriers to relief. Think of the mom-and-pop owner with a couple of employees who can't pick up the phone and call the banker, who doesn't have a lawyer, an accountant, to help them through this complicated process, to know if they're even qualified, or who simply didn't know where this relief is available in the first place. We went through this down when we brought Detroit back off its knees. And as we saw in this morning's job report, restaurants, bars, and hospitality industry have been slammed by this virus. We're going to direct relief to those businesses and others that have been so badly hit the hardest. We owe them that support to help them get through the other side of this crisis.
Okay, so that was Joe Biden.
I know that everyone here will.
Let me pause that. That was just Joe Biden speaking just a few hours ago on his current plan. And today is Friday, January 8th, 2021. And he said he's assembling a multi-trillion-dollar relief package that would boost stimulus payments for Americans to $2,000. Now, he wasn't really stipulating whether that's $1,400 plus the $600, or if it's going to be an additional $2,000 plus the $600 that we already got per person. He's going to extend unemployment insurance, and I'll get into that, and with the hurdles of $600 a week or $300 a week. And he's going to send billions of dollars to aid to city and state governments. Now, we know that the nation's economic condition is worsening by the day, and the pandemic is it's just gone crazy. Millions of people are just affected by this across our good country. So what exactly would be in the package according to Biden? Billions of dollars to improve vaccine distribution, tens of millions of dollars for schools, as well as rent forbearance and assistance to small businesses, especially those to low-income communities, which we just heard. Biden said we need to provide more immediate relief for families and businesses now. He also added the price tag will be high, and yes, it's going to be in the trillions, not billions, but trillions of dollars. And whether you like that or not, that it's coming. The overwhelming consensus among leading economists, left, right, and center, is that in order to keep the economy from collapsing this year, and we're on the train of collapse. The train, let's look at it this way. The train's going down the tracks, and there's no more tracks, and we got to build the tracks as the train goes down it. That's one analogy. I don't know if you see it that way. But getting much worse right now. We should be investing significant amounts of money right now, he said. Now, next week, he will lay out the entire package in more detail. So we don't have is a specific legislation on what he's projecting, but I'm going to bring that to you live when he comes out with it next week. Now, it will build on the, get this, we already spent $4 trillion in economic assistance, from the March to now, from the CARES Act all the way to the $900 billion package that Trump just signed last month. That's insane that we've spent $4 trillion in 1 month. Wow. Now that we know that Biden has said, let's figure out where the Democratic leaders are in discussing this, because we know that even though there is a 50-50 split right now in the Senate with the VP Kamala Harris breaking the tie, Biden needs all Democrat senators on his side, all 50 of them, or he needs to somehow get a couple Republicans to come on board. Now, Senator Joe Manchin, the third, a Democrat of West Virginia, he has a lot of power right now. He expressed skepticism today about the benefits of a new round of stimulus checks. He said specifically, "I do not know where in the hell $2,000 came from," Manchin said. "I swear to God, I don't." That's another $400 billion to whatever else they're going to be spending on. Manchin initially seemed to suggest in an interview with the Washington Post that he was absolutely opposed to a new round of checks. But he did clarify that in a follow-up interview that he could potentially support more checks if they were narrow in scope and targeted for people who really need them. So basically, like, okay, lower income levels will give more money, and if you're on a higher income level, we'll give you less, kind of thing. I think that's what he was getting at. Now, Manchin also said that the first priority needed to be getting the people vaccinated, not sending out checks. If they can direct money and they say this will help stimulate the economy, hell yeah, I'm for it, Manchin said. But basically right now, you better get them vaccinated. So basically he's saying whatever's in this bill, it needs to be a big ton of money for vaccinations for state and local governments to be able to vaccinate everybody. Right now, it's a shit show out there, guys. It is really a shit show out there. There's vials of vaccines that are going, that are spoiling, basically. Like, what's going on here? I mean, the government needs to get their shit together. So moderate Democrats like Manchin have a lot of power right now. So they can oppose anything they want to get something that they want for the constituents in their specific areas added to any bill. So I would call this like the pork of a bill. So if you have a 50-50 split and Manchin's like, well, I'm not going to vote yes on this unless you give me more money for something I want to build for my constituents, that's where Manchin's going to be. And so stimulus checks is a central promise right now from Biden, specifically telling Georgia voters, and I have that video, so if you want to check that video, check it out up above, that they would be getting $2,000 payments if Democrats won Senate runoff elections in the state this week. So I went over that video, just check it out. Democrats won these races in Georgia, which the Democrats are now clinching a majority in the Senate and unified control of Washington for the first time since the start of the Obama administration. So we all know during the Obama administration, he had a couple years of controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House. So you know, that's where we're at with that. Now, Senator Charles Schumer, the Democrat of New York, also pledged this week that the 2,000 checks would be an early priority. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont said in a statement today that the working class of this country was promised that they would receive a $2,000 direct payment. We must keep that promise. So Biden didn't say in that speech 2,000 or 1,400 plus the 600 we were given. He just said $2,000. He said nothing about the breakdown of it. But without united Democratic support, Biden would need to attract Republican votes for his proposals. So Biden has often spoken in the past of desire for bipartisanship, and there may be GOP support for some of the elements of his plan, including the stimulus checks, but not all of it. So if there's a big thing that's in a bill, some of the GOP is going to be like, I don't think so. Now, many Republicans are certain to never support a price tag that would be in the trillions of dollars. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think he's going to get much GOP support if he has a $3 trillion plan or anything above $1 trillion. It's going to be like $2 trillion. So we'll see next week. As I'm speaking right now, there are formal discussions between congressional Democratic leaders and Biden officials on the details of the stimulus package that are expected to be coming out in the next couple of days. Now, of course, I do stress that all of these conversations are very preliminary in nature and that there's absolutely no final decisions have been made on what exactly will be in the stimulus bill. So we don't have any text, any breakdown of what is actually going to be in that bill. So now let's talk about unemployment benefits. Now, there was at least one leading Democratic senator that will push for federal unemployment benefits to be approved for $600 a week. That's up from the current $300 right now. Although the position of the Biden team on that matter is not yet clear. He hasn't really spoken about that yet, but there's going to be more on that next week. So what might be the local aid component of the package? What will it look like? Now, it may take the form of additional money for specific needs that local governments face, such as funding for education, childcare, rather than direct grants to the states and cities directly. Now, I do want to stress that the economy lost 140,000 jobs in December alone, and we still have 19 million people still in unemployment. The economy is currently deteriorating faster than a potato shot out of a potato gun. If you don't know that analogy, you're not from the South. And steep COVID-19 deaths are still at an all-time high right now. This is just devastating everybody right now. Enhanced unemployment benefits are of up to $300 a week were included in the $900 billion package, $900 billion package that was signed by Trump a couple weeks ago. That package also included $600 stimulus checks. So if you're married, you got $1,200 and then per kid. So approving new $1,400 checks would bring stimulus payments to $2,000, a figure that has attracted widespread support. So there is widespread support for an additional $1,400, but not an additional $2,000. But we'll know more next week when they start arguing it back and forth. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi today pushed a standalone stimulus check measure through the House last month. So she said she already pushed for it last month, but it was, McConnell balked at that and they didn't really go anywhere. Now, Biden said today, however, that he would wrap the stimulus checks into a wide-ranging package, not try to move them as a standalone bill. So Biden basically said, Pelosi, we need to put this into a bigger bill, not a standalone bill. Biden is also likely to push for a larger legislative effort later this year after the initial package. Now he's going to be focusing on trillions of dollars for infrastructure and clean energy jobs. So when we get some more information on that, I'll bring it to you, but that won't be for months away. And Biden has also pushed for significant overhauls to America's healthcare system itself. Now, Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat of Oregon, he's an incoming chair of the Senate Finance Committee. He said in an interview that he will push for a restoration of the $600 per week in federal unemployment benefits approved by Congress in March. We all know that expired in the summer. Though there's some Democrats that have previously expressed opposition to reviving the $600 per week benefit. I myself, I'm for the $600 a week benefit over even stimulus checks because the needy need it the most, because we have 19 million people unemployed right now. We need to give them a step up to actually be able to support themselves. Now, somebody with a $50,000 a year job right now is like, okay, well, I got a $1,200 stimulus check coming in. Well, but I'm already making money. But then you have all these unemployed over here that are making nothing. I'm always an opponent to giving the needy the most money, especially for no fault of their own. And in this pandemic time, most of the unemployed are unemployed at no fault of their own. Wyden said in his communication with Biden officials about the coming push for economic relief, he did not say whether the Biden officials will back his push for the $600 weekly benefit, but he also said he is pushing for automatic triggers that tie the expiration of federal benefits to general economic conditions such as the unemployment rate, which would be great. So as the unemployment rate drops, then that $600, let's say it was initially $600 a week, it would move it down to $400, to $300, to $200, then to nothing. So he's saying like, okay, well, general economic conditions, let's step it. Let's do a step program. Wyden said, I talked to Biden officials last night. I can tell you they were very concerned about layoffs. At this point, I'm telling everybody I'm pulling out all the stops for $600. We're going to do everything we can to put hardworking families on an economic footing where they can get ahead. And that is your stimulus update for January 8th, 2021. If you like this video, smash that like button down below and consider subscribing if you like financial news you can use. I go over stock market investing, real estate investing, compliance topics if you're in the compliance realm. So consider subscribing and smash that button down below. I'll be talking with you in the next video. Ciao.